what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
But yo, what's good with y'all? It's your boy Gabe from Gabriel Dimitri channel, and today I'm here with Dennis, right? So introduce yourself, bro.
Hey guys, how's it going? Dennis over here. So I have been a personal trainer, corrective exercise specialist, exercise physiologist. Those are pretty interchangeable, and an online coach for several years now. I got into online fitness coaching right before COVID hit. I thought, I saw there was a need for that, so I jumped on that, and I've been providing that service for a while now. But yeah, I've been in the fitness industry for several years now. In and out, I know pretty much everything about it. Obviously, you never know everything. You're constantly learning. That's the beauty of being in the fitness industry. But yeah, when it comes to just corrective care or just rehab stuff, to all the way to, fitness stuff, bodybuilding, things like that. I'm kind of the local expert in that, so to speak.
Awesome. So I had a couple of questions for you that I posted on my story on Instagram, right?
Awesome.
Since this is a fitness episode on my channel, hopefully going to be doing a bit more of these in the future, right? So this is the first one of many, so I'm just hop right into it. One guy asked me, what's the best trap workout that you would recommend?
So trap workout, yeah, it's a good one. So my go-to are face pulls or the classic dumbbell shrugs. Those are probably the best ones. I really like face pulls just because you can really change your grip on them. If you're using that little what is it called, like that thread shaped black
the rope.
Yeah, rope, exactly. So there's different grips for it. You can kind of go overhand like this, you can go like this, or you can go out like this as well too. So target different areas of that. So really good just for shoulder health as well too. Using that rope for face pulls, and then also dumbbell shrugs are the classic ones. All the bodybuilders, everyone use that. So that's a great workout as well too. And you can change it up using a barbell too if you need to, but those two are probably my go-to ones that I recommend to people.
Yeah, for me, my favorite one that kind of hits a bit of the shoulders as well would be the shoulder raise, like the lateral shoulder raise. But there's two ways of doing it, right? So if you, as far as I know, like if you start like almost halfway and end here, that only hits the rear delt, right? But if you do it the classic like chicken grip way, right, per se, right?
Yeah.
Well, that actually activates a bit more of the traps. So
absolutely, yeah. That's a great one.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this other guy asked, "Hey man, I have really big forearms, but like my biceps and shoulders and everything else is pretty small. What should I do?"
Big forearms, but bicep and shoulders are small.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he want to do? He wants to grow the biceps and shoulders then? Is that what he's saying?
And pretty much just keep the forearms the same.
Okay, keep the forearms the same. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it just prioritize like the way you lift per se, right? Like I don't know what it's kind of a tricky question to answer just because I don't know what his routine is like currently, so but definitely I would like prioritize like the bigger, like more important types of lifts, especially for your biceps and shoulders, like definitely doing dumbbell curls or like barbell curls is like my go-to. I always recommend barbell curls over dumbbell curls just because you get more stability there. And then definitely overhead press. That's like that overhead press is such a underrated exercise to do. A lot of people just go straight to just like using dumbbells or things like that, but sticking to those like heavy compound movements are great for your shoulder, so I would say I typically just do if I'm hitting like for the day or whatever, if I'm hitting like that a certain muscle group, I typically only do like 1 or 2 exercises for that body group, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like if I'm hitting shoulders, I'm doing an overhead press, and then I'm maybe doing some ladder raises, you know. And then for biceps, if I'm doing barbell curls, it's typically all I do. Sometimes I'll do like hammer curls and things like that. But yeah, I would prioritize probably probably doing like 2 exercises whenever you're hitting that particular muscle group. I think that'll help.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, for me, my go-to would be either the bicep curls, right? I would prefer if they're seated kind of incline type of thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's just my preference. And chin-ups if I don't have access to any weights.
Yeah.
You know, because in my personal opinion, I think like chin-ups are so underrated when it comes to building the biceps, right? It's an exercise that's not really talked about too much, you know?
It isn't. Yeah. And then that's something actually, now that you mentioned that, I've been doing that recently as well too. Yeah, 100%. It's definitely underrated. Yeah. I think more people need to be doing that. Yeah. And obviously the great thing about doing that is like you can switch up your grips, right? Like if you're going underhand and then you can go neutral, you're still hitting that bicep, right?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question to you is, another guy asked, yo, so I'm not skinny, but I'm not fat either. He's kind of like in that skinny fat stage. Okay. You know, how would you go about solving that?
Yeah. So what I usually typically recommend to clients is kind of like, what do you want to do first? Typically what I like to recommend to clients is that they shred down first, right? And try to get as lean as possible, get rid of that unwanted fat. Because I always give this analogy to clients is that you can't build a house with a rocky foundation, you know? So the best way to go about it is to get as lean and get as shredded as you can as possible. And then take the right necessary, like healthy steps to lean bulk and put on weight the right way, right? Because if you're skinny fat already, you have some unwanted fat already, and then you start eating in a caloric surplus. You're going to gain more fat, because that's what happens when you eat a caloric surplus. You're bound to put on fat, right? So what I would recommend is to shred down first, get lean, get yourself in a caloric deficit, you know, get lean, get shredded there, and then start putting on more muscle, more weight, more mass, you know, and kind of build up your strength that way. That's probably the best way to go about it. It's longer. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take longer, you know, but it'll be worth it. And just, you know, you'll have less fat around your body.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? What do you think?
On skinny fat? Yeah. I mean, I would eat at maintenance level, you know, not necessarily in surplus or a deficit, right? Just so that whenever you're working out, your body still has calories to burn, right? Yeah. And build muscle with. But at the same time, like, you know, you would really need to focus your workouts more so on heavy compound lifts rather than high reps, right? I found that whenever trying to build muscle rather than endurance, it's better to hit low reps and heavy weight type of thing with progressive overload, right? So because he has all this extra fat going on, I would use it to his advantage to build the muscle necessary. But at the same time, since he's eating at a maintenance level, right, you know, it's much easier to shred it down as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what you brought up about the heavy compound movements, I think that's a very good detail as well too. I think that's very important. What I found that typically works for a lot of people when they're skinny fat, like a routine is like a push pull legs usually works really well. You know, when you're there, you want to maximize as much energy as you can, right? Yeah. So hitting those body parts at least twice a week is optimal. So yeah. For
sure. My style of training is usually a bit different. So I usually, for compounds, I do reverse pyramid, right? Yeah. Just because the first set is always going to be like my money shot. I'm going to be fresh. I'm going to be, you know, hyped, right? And you know, I'm going to put everything into that one set, and progressing, you know, throughout the weeks, I just add 5 pounds to each side or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So progressive overload plus reverse pyramid is personally what I found works for me.
Yeah, that's a good one too as well. Too. Yeah, I've incorporated that before too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So one more question, and that is, what do you see that most of your clients or people you talk to in general, they're like rookie mistakes or whatever, and how would you go about fixing them?
Like like typical mistakes that most people make, like when they're starting out. I think majority of it has to do with nutrition, really. I think not many people are like, well, when they're first starting out their fitness journey, they're not sure what to eat and they're not sure how much to eat. There's two things, right? So they know what healthy foods are. They just don't know how much of it they should be eating, right? They know that, you know, obviously, right? Like, you know, you gotta have your whole foods, you gotta have your fruits and vegetables, you gotta have, you know, this, you gotta have your good carbs, you gotta have your protein, lean source of protein, but they don't understand how much to have, right? And I think that's the biggest gap to fill, and teaching them how to you know, eat properly and eat the right amount, because you can easily overeat, right? Or you can easily undereat. Right? I think that's the biggest thing too, kind of.
So actually,
what do you think?
Piggybacking off that, actually, I guess it's a bonus question. It's usually a bit more controversial, this one, but what's your opinion on having one slice of cake, like as group food portions, versus 6 apples, right? You know, so.
Yeah. So my thing is like I don't believe all calories are the same, you know. I prioritize whole foods over anything like that. You know, there's obviously this trend, Instagram and thing like that, you know, like, you know, you see people eating cookies and ice cream and they're like, oh, it's okay because it fits my macros, you know, this and that. I mean, that's great and all, it might work, right? But honestly, your body needs nutritious food. You know, if you treat your body like a temple, it's gonna react the same, you know. So if you fuel your body with good stuff, then you're just kind of, you know, it's just gonna be better for you, you know. So your overall health is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my thing, is just try to, you know, prioritize whole nutritious food in your diet, you know. Obviously it's okay to, you know, have that one slice cake here and there or whatever like that, like everybody needs it, you know. But yeah, if you can prioritize healthy, nutritious foods in your diet, so much better for you.
Yeah, my thing is it's all about balance. Like, you know, at the end of the day, yes, you're still getting the same macros in or whatever, right? But you know, you're going to feel a lot more energized, you know, and it's like you said, it's going to be better for your body, you know, if you prioritize nutrition. But if we're talking strictly on just macros and hitting those, then, you know, in my opinion, it doesn't make a difference, right? But if you actually want to feel good and whatever, and not feel all lazy and down and whatever, then yes, obviously, you know, go for the healthier option. My thing is, you know, I like to have a mix of both. Right? So I'll have like a piece of cake, but at the same time, the rest is going to be, you know, healthy chicken with a bit of seasoning, you know, all home cooked foods, right? So that way it kind of balances out. That's what I do.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't be having cake or ice cream or anything like that unless you're like a competitor. And that's my personal opinion. Unless you're competing on the stage or something like that, I don't think you should forgo ice cream or cake or anything like that. Cookies, like you need that. Like that's like childhood memories, you know, that's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it makes you happy. It's feel good food, right? You need feel good food.
Exactly.
You need food in your body like throughout your life, you know? So it's just like, you need to have a healthy balance. And I think that's so important too, you know, like, like have your chicken, vegetable, whatever, but at night, if you want to have a cookie, like go ahead and eat a cookie, you know, like don't stress over it. And I think that's another thing. That's another point to make, is people stress over their nutrition and diet. And I think they need to, you know, kind of take a step back and kind of appreciate what they're putting into their body, and kind of be like, what, like I deserve this or anything like that, like, like it's okay if I have this, and that's like another whole aspect of like mental health stuff. There's a lot of people who are like scared of, like, oh my God, if I have a cookie, oh my God, I'm going to like, lose all my progress and everything like that. And that's like, it's like, you got to relax a little bit and just go with the flow and just enjoy the process,
Sure.
You just need to learn how to enjoy the process. I think once they start learning to enjoy the process, the results will come so much quicker.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because like when I was starting out, right, I was very, very, very skinny, right? So I would eat everything that I could eat to get my macros in.
Yeah.
Right? And for a while, because I was so undernutrition, it wouldn't affect me. But after I got to a normal weight, there's days where I didn't even feel like going to the gym, but I ate, how much I should have, but it was with not so healthy food. I ended up like overcoming that mindset. I went to the gym anyway. I still did well and I was still on the progress. But I think, again, when I was trying to stay only on salads versus when I was putting anything into my body, I didn't feel well in either of those situations,
Correct.
Because there was a lack of balance, right? So I know personally, I have experienced that from both the healthy side and the unhealthy side, right? What's actually healthy, in my personal opinion, is just having a balanced combination of both. Like you said, unless you're competing, unless there's no point. You're still going to be around like 8 to 10% body fat, 8 to 15 if you have a healthy balance. So
yeah, exactly. And if you have a healthy balance, life is just so much easier and stress free, and you don't have to worry about like, oh, what my next meal is going to be or anything like that. Like,
exactly.
If you're flexible with it, you can kind of, if I eat that, that'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, do you have any questions for me?
Not at this point. Actually, you know what? I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If someone came to you and, they were thinking about starting their fitness journey, right? Mm-hmm. How would you go about, and they weren't in the right mindset, and you could tell right away when someone is in the right mindset, they're like on the fence of like, oh man, should I start? Should I not start? I don't know how I feel about this. How would you kind of sway them in the right direction?
So just to be clear, like they are, or they're on the fence?
Yeah, like they're on the fence of like, oh, like I know I should start a fitness journey, but like I should become healthier, but it's just like too much work or this, that, where they have excuses, right? Yeah. So how would you sway them in the right direction?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that has a bit of the mindset aspect into it. It would pretty much, my first question to them would be why? Why do you want to start this journey, right? And that's always actually with most of my clients and whatnot. That's always my question. Why do you want to make this improvement? Why do you want to do this, right? Mm-hmm. And they would tell me usually it goes like, they would tell me all the superficial reasons. Oh, I want to look good. Oh, I want to impress and have a nice body. When I go to the beach, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, fine. But how important is that to you? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so they'd be like, well, actually, I was insecure about this, right? I'm like, okay, good. I want you to remember that insecurity, because that's going to be your main focus for the next X months until you see progress in there. So for example, if you was to tell me, oh, I've always had like sloped shoulders, right? I'm like, okay, good. We're going to fix your shoulders, type of thing, right? And what ends up happening is, especially in the early stages, when I would say within the first month, you start to see small little results, right? And that usually propels you to move on forward and forward and forward. Right. Absolutely. So it's all about that first month to get them in the right direction. And again, that starts with the why. Why are you doing this? Taking it from a superficial to a more deeper meaning. You know what I mean? So really something that hits home for them, right? And using that as motivation, for the first couple months. And then once that issue is fixed, by that time they fall in love with the process already. And, it just becomes a part of their lifestyle, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good answer for sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
100%.
All right. Well, that was the quick little episode, right? I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a pleasure having you. And
Having me. Appreciate it.
I'll be looking forward to doing this again.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.